Hey team, wanted to make a quick video because I finished a series that I had been reading for a long time. I didn't technically finish, which is why I wanted to make the video. I made a couple of videos for Anonymous Book Club about the series, so it is about Armageddon. It's about the biblical times where the human race was going through a number of tribulations, with the four horsemen, with earthquakes and the water turning to blood, and all sorts of different maladies as foretold in the Bible, the coming of the Antichrist and his reign over humanity for 7 years. As he came to power, and how all these different tribulations struck humanity, testing our faith. And so I wanted to make a video because I was really interested, really into the series when I started. I really liked it. I will say the characters kind of became less likable as I went along, as they got, grew and went through more tribulations. Some qualities of their interactions kind of fell to the wayside. Quality of relationship, between peoples, and arguably faith also kind of gone here and there. And then and that's part of going through hard things, is it's not always pretty. But I a couple of really great characters, I think, could have gotten more time and better ends in the story than what they got. Because it was a decent amount of characters. There were a few characters that, found love, and then the people were killed as part of the tribulations. And the tribulations, followers and, of Jesus and followers of the Antichrist both were slaughtered, essentially. They some became martyrs, and so it was just sad, and it was disappointing, and it kind of asks you, well, why why would we be put through that sort of tribulation if you have that faith, and it's about sacrifice and things like that. And but it was kind of I think more characters got killed off, and it was just kind of a bummer, and it became more about survival, I'd say, and less about the characters and how they were getting through it and how they were surviving together. So it became less about the people and more about just surviving and all these tribulations. And I don't like how some of the characters ended, like I said, but I actually, I read it through to almost the end. I was in the last book, and I decided to stop. And I wanted to talk about it because it was at the point where it was the Antichrist versus the chosen ones, the people who found refuge in Israel, and they were being protected from the Antichrist's wiles. They had this epic battle in the second to last book, and things were kind of coming to a head, where it was army versus army, Antichrist outflanking the followers by however many, and trying to take over the Holy Land, I guess. And so the last book, I decided to stop reading because we were coming up and we just kept waiting for this glorious appearing, for Jesus to come, for Jesus to come. And I did have this kind of plot, this idea of, maybe God being one of the characters in the story. And he was Jewish, or secular Jewish, a big scientist who saved the country of Israel, and was friends with the Antichrist for a long time. And then he ended up finding Christianity and following Christianity as the tribulations kind of came to pass. And that was another thing. I did feel like some of the non-believers becoming believers, I do feel like the transition was too easy and for some of them, kind of ex deus, but just because it's, changing beliefs. Obviously, if you're living through these tribulations, you literally have evidence right in front of you of, the earthquakes and these supernatural enemies coming, like these little, there were locusts, but they were like tiny horsemen, and they were, all these plagues and things. So I think it would be hard if you heard that argument of the Bible, and then you saw the literal manifestation of it. Of course, depending on if you are a believer or not a believer, if you were religious and just didn't actually believe, because in this series, the believers had been taken from the earth in one fell swoop. So it was the non-believers who were left, and a lot of them converted to believers for their souls to be saved. And so I just thought that it was definitely a very dynamic story, and I liked learning more about Armageddon and the tribulations. I feel like reading them more in depth, like each book had a tribulation or two, versus, the short passages of the Bible. I think being able to see it in another context where it's really played out kind of was good, actually. I thought that was great to help educate, and it was definitely interesting, the dramatization of it, and the characterizations of the peoples was very dynamic as well, very interesting. Like I said, I was disappointed with a lot of them because a lot of main characters died, but they did say, with the glorious appearing, they would be with the returning of Jesus Christ. They would be rejoining those people in heaven. And I didn't read through to that part, so I don't know what happened. And that's kind of how I wanted it, I think. I didn't want to know. I was at a point where we finally did see the actual manifestation of Satan. We saw, because he was taking hold of a human man, and using him as his vessel. And so it was unique to see Satan actually come out of this man as this glorious fallen angel, just bright white lights, and just seeing, his obviously he's not a likable character, because it was win at any costs and Machiavellian tactics. We can sacrifice these people. He made those choices, and he said these people aren't worth it, and XYZ, and pitting people against each other in order for him to move forward and take over the world. And so he's not a likable character, and I thought his characterization was unique in that he was still this bright white, supernatural, angelic glow, because he was a fallen angel. And I think that's an interesting element to it, to kind of think about that in the storyline as well. But I didn't stick around for the Glorious Appearing. I kind of had this notion that one of the characters was the God character, and he kind of spoke out and made a public appearance at the time that we're waiting for this Glorious Appearing. So I kind of thought that was a teaser in that, he is it, he is what we were waiting for this whole time, and no one knew it. No one could identify it because he looks just like everyone else. But I didn't read through to the end, and so I almost like my fan theory. I don't know if it does play out in that way, how he relates to it in the end. But anyway, I stopped. I didn't see the Glorious Appearing. I don't know if everyone was reunited at the end. A lot of people just died at the last minute and very unceremoniously. And so I don't know what happened. And I'm actually okay with that. I would love to read more like it. I think that it, like I said, it was very educational, and the Bible is obviously a very well-read book, very popular across the world. And so I did feel like it was nice to have a supplementary series to kind of get inside the minds of the people who were raised in the faith. And like I said, I was raised in a mostly secular, kind of non-religious environment. And so it was kind of there, that spirituality. I was arguing that I was agnostic, spiritual, but I couldn't ascribe myself to a particular religion. And I do still, I found a religion that is kind of based, but that's a personal story, and that's not what the series is about, the book series, but I would love to read more, and it was very cool. So, woohoo! Very cool. I hope that a lot of people aren't just killed off unceremoniously at the last minute. I hope that people are recognized and appreciated for the characters that they are, and that they find Hiroshige, they find that level of meaning and purpose, and that no one dies in vain, and that we love each other. That's my hope. So, and I do think that this book kind of made me feel that, or this series kind of made me feel that, just because you learn to love characters, you learn to hate characters because they're doing so many things wrong. I'm thinking of one character in specific about how they kind of goofed up the life of another human, and who is sacrificing his life to protect this person. And it's very sad. And so I just don't like seeing that. I don't like, those elements, because I don't feel like he reached his full potential. I don't feel like she reached her full potential. So very sad. But I didn't wait around to see if everyone was reunited. And so I don't mind if people have spoilers, if they can guess what series I'm talking about. I don't know if this qualifies as another anonymous book club. I read like 4 books, 3.5 books, kind of go. So it's kind of 3 books in one fell swoop. But I decided to be done before the end of that final book. And now we're moving on to other books, other series. I want to get back to science, and I'll make a video about that. But all right, tell me your thoughts about Armageddon, about book series, about how they progress through their plots, and how the characterizations please you, displease you. I can think of other series where I was like, no, why are you being so dumb? Things like that. So let's talk about it. Okay, thanks, bye.